Breaking news out of North Korea, their entire army is about to get wiped out. North Korea's little dictator Kim Jong-un has issued one too many threats to America, tested too many bombs, and tried to grandstand the world's most prepared military that they don't stand a chance against. The writing has been on the wall for weeks, that they were going to get what they had coming for years if they didn't back down. Instead of heeding the warnings at their doorstep, their ridiculous leader decided to increase his show of force, and it just backfired on him big time. The only thing that Kim Jong-un is good at is pretending to be powerful. Although he has control over those in his country, his tactics don't work on the rest of the world, especially America now run by President Donald Trump. Kim Jong likes to talk a tough game and line his army up and parade them around to intimidate people, but probably should have kept his soldiers and weaponry under wraps. Showcasing what he's working with proved to be a bad idea when keen eyes happened to notice something on closer look. If you're going to taunt the Goliath that is America, you better come to the fight prepared. It appears that North Korea is very far from that when the U.S. intelligence officer saw what they were carrying and wearing in an April 15 military parade aimed at showing force. Michael Prigent believes many of the arms flaunted by menacing-looking North Korean troops during their displays are dummies, and claims even their sunglasses wouldn't be fit for combat, the Daily Mail reports. In what Kim Jong hoped would make America back down, only worked against him in this ridiculous parade after it became clear that they were carrying fake weapons that don't stand a chance to our military's very real weapons. He suggested many of the guns were not real and hinted many may have even been given toys, in a move designed to boast their strength to the world, Mail Online's report added. This was more about sending a message than being combat effective, Prigent told Fox News. Essentially, what these soldiers are carrying around is nothing more than a glorified Nerf gun, from what it looks like, and their eye protection were cheaply made sunglasses you could probably get from any corner store for a few bucks. Soldiers in Western countries use specially tailored ballistic safety glasses that wrap around the head, Prigent explained. If this is what they plan to bring to a seemingly inevitable fight, they better prepare to get wiped out, since fake munitions aren't what you want to bring to a fight with America's military. Prigent says that these weapons are laughable because you can see the plastic is over the muzzle, according to the Daily Mail. Images from the parade show what appear to be North Korean commandos carrying AK-47 assault rifles with attached grenade launchers, Daily Mail reports. But Prigent says that the objects seen affixed to the rifles are really helical magazines designed to store bullets in a spiral shape. The intelligence official added that not only are the weapons likely fake, but even if they were real they would be ineffective, since North Korea has a serious shortages of domestically produced ammunition. The weapons expert admits that North Korea does likely have rebounds per game capabilities, but use these toys for the parade for a rather alarming reason. Kim Jong-un doesn't want them to launch one at the viewing stand, Prigent explained, which seems to be to say that the soldiers aren't well trained with weapons. This could also work against them should they be forced into war that they're not ready for. They can only talk the talk and parade a perfect march before they have to prove they are as tough as they like to pretend to be. As America closes in on North Korea, they better be ready for a fight that they don't stand a chance to win, which will probably be the most demoralizing loss in world history. After all this pomp and circumstance, talk, and bomb testing, Kim Jong-un and his toy soldiers are going to look ridiculous when things go to blows and they get blasted back to the Stone Age where they seem to be operating from. North Korea just issued their sickest threat yet of how they're going to drop 5 million nukes. Several days ago, President Trump received an urgent warning that Kim Jong-un was in the final stages of preparing a nuclear strike on the United States. On Monday, the president held an emergency doomsday meeting with 100 senators where he later told ambassadors at a White House gathering that North Korea is a big world problem, and it's a problem that we have to finally solve in light of the dictator's continued threats for nuclear war on the United States. As our newly deployed nuclear submarine makes its way to the Korean peninsula as a show of force along with our naval fleets, Kim Jong-un has just upped the ante on his vow for nuclear war, and his promise will make you a true believer in what an insane madman he truly is. On Wednesday, We brought you the story of how Kim Jong-un is in his final stages for preparing a nuclear strike against the United States. While we are unsure whether these threats are legitimate, as his true military capabilities are unknown, satellite imagery reveals increased activity along the North Korean border, in what reporters are calling a historic show of force. Now Kim Jong-un has vowed to wipe out the United States and South Korea with 5 million nuclear bombs carried by North Korean children. The chilling warning came straight from Kim Jong-un's Central Committee of the Kim Il-sung Kim Jong-ilist Youth League, who warned that nuclear bombs are already combat ready and that they will be used to wipe out the United States and South Korea even with the slightest provocation. North Korea's state-run Korean Central News Agency reported a spokesman saying the youths were keeping themselves fully combat-ready to mercilessly wipe out with 5 million nuclear bombs the group of devils who are trying to bring a nuclear disaster to the inviolable country. The warning comes as North Korea put his warplanes, submarines, and massed guns into place, as he fired rockets and torpedoes at mock enemy warships in what is calling a historic and largest ever live-fire artillery drill on Tuesday. Young supporters of Kim Jong-il are preparing to wipe out the US and Korea with 5 million nuclear bombs, the head of the Republic's Youth League has said. The chilling message from the Central Committee of the Kim Il-sung Kim Jong-ilist Youth League warns that the earth will break if it launches an attack. It promised to destroy the US and its South Korean neighbors if either shows a slight provocation, as international tension reaches breaking point. The warning came as South Korea announced on a high-altitude rocket system to be built on its own soil, giving allies the US powerful weaponry on the peninsula. And in a defiant bit of timing, South Korea have announced that key parts of a contentious US missile defense system have been installed. The South's trumpeting of progress in setting up the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System, or THAAD, comes as high-powered U.S. military assets converge on the Korean peninsula and as a combative North Korea signals possible nuclear and missile testing. In light of these threats, President Trump isn't messing around. On the same day, the United States docked its guided missile submarine in South Korea, as the USS Carl Vinson aircraft carrier barrels full speed ahead to South Korea as an increased show of force. On Monday, President Trump blamed the international community for not reining in the dictator earlier, as he's now grown out of control as he's now vowing the destruction of the untied states and South Korea. The status quo on North Korea is unacceptable, Trump said to members of the United Nations Security Council at the White House. The Council must be prepared to impose additional and stronger sanctions. A fatal mistake to make on the battlefield is underestimating your enemy, and this could very well be the case with North Korea. As many scoff at the chubby dictator as he presents himself like a petulant and spoiled child, we must remember that this is an insane madman we are dealing with. Even though he might not have the military capability to hit the United States with a nuclear bomb yet, he's proving to us that he's more than willing to push the button if given the opportunity. And add the fact that Kim Jong-un is willing to employ children to take out his apocalyptic rage onto the free world, and it becomes clear the caliber of crazy we are truly dealing with. China delivers humiliating slap to Kim Jong-un. Tensions on the Korean peninsula have reached dangerous levels over the past few weeks, sparking concern in China that a second Korean War may be right around the corner. China has no desire to see the United States topple the North Korean regime and plant a pro-Western government right on China's borders. In fact, it appears that China may be taking actions to rein in North Korea. An editorial published in the Global Times, a newspaper widely believed to be the unofficial mouthpiece of China's Communist Party, warned that North Korea would suffer if it conducted another nuclear test. The game of chicken between Washington and Pyongyang has come to a breaking point. If North Korea carries out a sixth nuclear test as expected, it is more likely than ever that the situation will cross the point of no return. All stakeholders will bear the consequences, with Pyongyang sure to suffer the greatest losses, the editorial read. The editorial seemed to suggest that China wouldn't be surprised if the US launched a strike against North Korea if the country conducted another nuclear test, and perhaps more importantly, The article never suggested that China would respond to such an action. Once the US launched surgical strikes against North Korea's nuclear and missile facilities, the Pyongyang regime will be forced to make a life-or-death decision. By then, if North Korea does not resort to strategic retaliation, its deterrence will lose ground and Washington will play it like a fiddle, stated the article. China has already taken unprecedented action to show its displeasure with North Korea, such as turning away coal shipments from the country. President Donald Trump has repeatedly stated that he wants the Chinese to do more to stop North Korea, but that if they are unwilling to help him, he is willing to go it alone against North Korea. China is in a tough spot right now. Right now, their best option is to exert whatever pressure they have to get North Korea to calm down before the United States takes action. The end of the Global Times editorial, urging Pyongyang to step back, might be just that kind of pressure. Yet given North Korea's current national strength as well as its peculiar geopolitical circumstances, it must learn how to be flexible as well as resolute. Taking a small step back will make a conflict easier to solve. This does not mean being a coward, but being courageous to face the challenge in a different way. The North Korea nuclear issue is like a puzzle filled with bombs. Pyongyang must not strike a match and detonate it. What it needs is big wisdom to realize a soft landing. The question is whether the North Koreans will listen. Kim Jong-un holds live fire drill. U.S. response with nuclear-powered sub. While North Korea reportedly conducted a live fire drill that involved up to 400 artillery pieces on Tuesday, the U.S. parked a powerful weapon in coastal waters near the rogue nation. The nuclear-powered submarine USS Michigan arrived the South Korean port of Pusan for